Dynamic Instructional Model. Lever Duffy and McDonald, 2011, created the Dynamic Instructional Model, abbreviated as DID. It is a six-step model built around a continuous internal and external feedback loop, with opportunities for feedback and revision within each step as well as throughout the process. It is the study that is primarily concerned with issues of improved technology and revolves around designing and focusing on the establishment of an appropriate and effective learning environment for all students. It is a learner-centered approach because it includes special procedures such as identifying students' learning styles and creating a welcoming learning environment. This will undoubtedly increase the speed and intensity of the lessons, allowing them to reach learners more effectively. According to Pocket, 2014, unlike other methods of teaching, the use of technology in the classroom has become the most essential and fastest way of taking lessons. When the following steps are followed, the dynamic instructional design model can be implemented effectively. Starting with Step 1. Step 1. Know the learners. Step 2. State learning outcomes. Step 3. Establish the learning environment. Step 4. Identify teaching and learning strategies. Step 5. Identifies and select technologies. Step 6. Plan a summative evaluation. Step 1. Know the learners. Evaluate your student's developmental stage both physically and cognitively. Knowing the various characteristics of the students is extremely beneficial. If this is done, it will be much easier for the students to learn and benefit from what they have been taught in class. The following characteristics should be considered: the student's developmental period, language and cultural backgrounds, information pertaining to the knowledge and skills they already have, personal characteristics among learners such as intelligence, study styles, and finally, cognitive styles, as well as the similarities and differences in the student's perspective on instructional design. The guide questions are: what is their ethnic background? What was their prior knowledge? And what is their learning style? As a teacher, you must know for whom you are creating the instructions, and using these questions, you can determine how your students' backgrounds will affect your instructional design. Step 2. State learning outcomes. Objectives state what a learner will be capable of when the instruction have finished. Student performance objectives should specify exactly what you expect students to be able to do or learn by the end of the instructional unit. In this step, you must not only create performance objectives but also critically evaluate whether they are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and anchored with a time frame. Step 3. Establish the learning environment. Every learning institution should have a conducive environment which includes the seating order or arrangement, welcoming competition, an appropriate physical environment, and attitudes. All of these factors contribute to an environment in which people can learn without difficulty. Using the guide questions below, you must clarify what you will do to create a learning environment in this step. What changes to the classroom environment should be made? What reinforcers will be needed for this unit to motivate and build learning success? What steps can we take to make learning more active? How should students be divided into groups to encourage positive interaction? Step 4. Identify teaching and learning strategies. Learning and teaching strategies are the methods that a teacher will employ to assist students in achieving an outcome that is appropriate for their learning process. A teacher should be able to use a variety of methods and activities to get the best results from his or her students. Teaching strategies are the methods you will employ to help your students achieve their goals. While learning strategies are the techniques and activities that you will require your students to engage in order for them to master the concept. Describe in detail the teaching and learning strategies that must be implemented in order to meet the objectives. Do the strategies address the various needs of the learners identified in Step 1? Are or were the strategies adequate and effective in achieving the goals established in Step 2? Include strategies for connecting to prior knowledge, introducing new knowledge, reinforcing new knowledge, and evaluating formative and summative learning outcomes. Step 5. Identifies and select technologies. Instructional technologies are the specific tools that are used to support the learning strategies established by the teacher. In this step, one must choose the necessary technological tool that is effective in terms of learning strategies. In fact, one must make a decision about how and when to use the available technologies. Some of these technological advancements and tools include the use of multimedia CDs, radios, and videos, among others. Choose media, materials, and technology to support each of the identified teaching and learning strategies. Examine how well the technology you choose supported your teaching and learning. Does the technology match the teaching and content? Did the technology facilitate the desired teaching and learning? If you understand what technology is capable of, you understand the focus of this course. Step 6. Plan a summative evaluation. Summative evaluation is the final and most effective step in designing and evaluating learning measures. There should be opportunities for revision in order to improve the design. In fact, this can be accomplished through self-evaluation of the effectiveness of your lesson. On the same note, this can be accomplished by giving the students a questionnaire to fill out so that the teacher can learn about the students' perspectives. Conduct a summative assessment of student learning. Reflect on the assessment's design and its effectiveness in providing accurate feedback on student achievement of learning objectives based on that assessment. Is the assessment instrument accurate in measuring goal attainment? Did the assessment provide the data required to determine the design's effectiveness? Make a point of including the design with an evaluation strategy. This can be used in the future to improve the design and maximize the quality. Comparing dynamic instructional model to another ISD models. Like many design models, both ADI, Assure, and dynamic instructional model is learner-centered and was created using cognitive theories of learning as its foundation with the add of learning environment. All of the models is a process wherein it composes different steps. Dynamic instructional model composes of 6 steps. ADI has 5 phases that stands for analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate, and Assure that stands for A. Analyze learners, S. State goals and objectives, S. Select methods and media, U. Utilize media and technology, R. Require learner participation, E. Evaluate and revise the blended learning strategy. Each models start with analyzing the characteristics and features of learners. This is important and essential as most people learn in different ways, known as learning preferences. What suits one learner might not suit another. Some students require adjustments and allowances for their particular needs. Another one is having a stated objectives. Learning objectives define learning outcomes and focus teaching. They help to clarify, organize, and prioritize learning. They help you and your students evaluate progress and encourage them to take responsibility for their learning. And last is selecting the best media and materials for instruction. Instructional materials should be appropriate for the age, emotional and social development, and ability level of the students for whom the materials are selected. Instructional materials should be diverse with respect to levels of difficulty, reader appeal, and should present a variety of points of view. So that is all for the dynamic instructional model. Thank you for listening.